In the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most gracious, I bear witness that there is no deity but God, without partners, and that Muhammad is his prophet. Peace and blessings upon him. May the blessings of Allah be upon him and his family, and I ask Allah to guide my tongue. Reverend Barbara, brothers and sisters of faith, I'd like to also thank the Triangle Interfaith Alliance for hosting this gathering, this very important, timely gathering. As Muslims, we have an undeniable responsibility to struggle against oppression and injustice, and to work for a world based on principles of equity and compassion. To do so, Muslims must first of all be aware of the current state of affairs in the world at large, an obligation that has been indicated by the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings upon him, as follows, quote, "Whoever wakes up in the morning not thinking about the affairs of the ummah or community is not one of us." Hadith from Muslim. The Quran, our holy book, the revelation of God, clearly points out that Muslims must fight against oppression in all forms, be it against Muslim or non-Muslim. Quote, "And what reason have you that you should not fight in the way of Allah and of the weak among men, women, and children of those who say, 'Our Lord, cause us to go from this town whose people are oppressors, and give us from thee a guardian, and give us from thee a helper.'" Al-Nisa, ayat 75. This verse shows that Muslims have a responsibility to aid the oppressed, regardless of the faith or ethnicity of both the oppressed and the oppressor. Indeed, Prophet Muhammad, Rasulullah, has clearly stated that refusing to struggle against oppression and injustice could be tantamount to becoming an oppressor and even exiting the fold of Islam. Quote, "Whoever goes along with an oppressor and strengthens his hands, knowing he is an oppressor, has taken himself out of the fold of Islam." Whoever sees something wrong should use his strength to make it right. And if he cannot do that, he must speak about it. And if he cannot do that, he should at least consider it wrong in his heart. And this is the weakest of faith. Thus, it is clear that genuine adherence to Islam inherently entails committed activism against all forms of injustice and oppression. This includes standing up against those who perpetrate and promulgate injustice, regardless of whether they are Muslim or non-Muslim, and striving to protect the rights of all people from oppression, once more, regardless of ethnicity or religion. And in that spirit, we support and must take part in the historic thousands on Jones Street, People's Agenda, Moral Monday movement for opening the path of all of our various communities in North Carolina and spreading across the South. Because as Reverend Barbara says, as the South goes, so goes the entire country. We must do that to come together to stand against the economic, the political, the cultural, the religious, and the social injustices that are being inflicted against all our communities by these local North Carolina pharaohs running amok on Jones Street. We have put our bodies on the line, and we do speak out. And it is only just that all charges be dropped against all the Moral Monday arrestees. In the labor movement, and many of you may know me as a labor activist, as a member of Black Workers for Justice, there's a saying that an injury to one is an injury to all. Yeah. And people of faith, including Muslims, must invoke the fundamental principle that I want for my brother or sister what I want for myself. Forward together, not one step back. See, I was raised on an NAACP picket line at age 11 to fight for desegregation in junior high school that I was to go to. I was raised watching 4 little girls my age murdered in a house of worship. I was raised standing with folks of all faith. I was raised watching the March of Washington. I tried to figure out how to go, but I didn't have enough pennies in the jar to get there. And so when we say we can never go back, we can never go back. It is not intellectual. It is not something high in the sky. And it therefore was the perfect logical step for me to declare my submission to God, to become Muslim, because of the search, the struggle against oppression and for justice for all people. God is great. Let there be among you a group that invites to the good, enjoins what is right, and forbids what is evil. And they are those who are successful. I wish to thank Muslims for Social Justice, Brother Mansour in particular, for his hard work, and acknowledge all who assisted in the statement. And if anything I have said is wrong, untrue, contradictory, or inconsistent with what Allah has given us and what Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings upon him, has role modeled and taught us, all fault and responsibility is mine. And if anything has been gained by you, by this statement, all praise is due to Allah.